more Mega Man-esque things in a level, where you have to, the disappearing blocks, similar to all the, the famous Mega Man disappearing blocks, and you have to time them exactly correctly. There's a very similar part to that in this game as well, in which case I use Blinky's hover to get over one specific jump. That I found out that I could never get it all the time. Like, sometimes I would get it, sometimes I wouldn't, as the other characters. But I found out by using Blinky I can get through it instantly. So I've always chosen now to just do it that way. This is funny though, because you're seeing this giant boulder, which of course will crush me or kill me or whatever. Which I'm actually now gonna fight the giant boulder, which we're gonna see is actually a frog inside of this giant thing. It's actually a ship. Which of course, it makes sense how to kill this boss. He opens up, and of course shooting him in the center is the way to kill him. I'm gonna get hit a lot, you're gonna see in this battle, but there's really no need to move until he closes up, in which case then charge up your jump is seemingly the only way to get up above him. And you have to do it twice. He comes back, and then he's gonna stop, open back up, in which case we can continue hitting him. And hopefully I can kill him. He doesn't take too many shots, that's the good thing about this one. But it's still basically the same exact attack he just did against us, which do so little damage that it's not a big deal if you just stand in one particular spot and just, get your rhythm going in terms of hitting. And there we go. Got that last shot, sneak that last shot in there to blow him up. And another level complete, as I'm going to rack up my score here. And rack up my life back up. So I've racked up 7 lives, and now we saved Deadeye. Here's a Toad Blaster, which I just lifted from a Toad arsenal. It was no problem zapping around in this Toad rocket pack. Zoomed right over the Toad walls. And there's our password. And now it's time to go to the blue planet, which I mentioned earlier, the ice-themed planet, the snow-themed planet, which I'll be using Blinky in order to break through a lot of the ice barriers throughout the course of this level. All the little ice tubes things that you're seeing, all of them can be broken with Blinky's weapon, which is the first area where you actually need it, right here. And of course, there's items found inside of them, as well as enemies, as you just saw. I'm not sure exactly where all of them are. I think that they're the same every single time. It doesn't matter how many times you play the game, they're all going to be in the same spots. Which, of course, if I wanted to, I could search through, each and every one of them, if I absolutely wanted to. But so here, now here's a part that reminds me of Battletoads. Anybody in particular see why? The giant snakes. Which, of course, if I get hit by the giant head of them, I instantly die. There's also a few areas where you'll get stuck if you're not there. That was one of the most annoying things ever in a video game, is the Battletoads. Battletoads in general is one of the most annoying games ever, in terms of difficulty. It's one of the hardest games that exist, in my opinion. I don't know many people, I really don't know any people that can sit down and be able to complete Battletoads without using a continue, and not using any kind of cheat. I mean, I remember as a kid I would use the Game Genie to use infinite lives, and I still had trouble beating the game, even with infinite lives, because of all the instant death spots. And even with all the warps in the game, it takes forever. No, let's get back to this game. As you're gonna see, I'm on this, floating platform, and you just gotta survive a long period of time. The helicopter keeps flying over, and every time, every other time it drops a bomb, I guess. A red ball, in which case it breaks a piece of the platform away. In which case, you eventually end up down to just one small platform. In which case, when it gets to the end, after you've gotten down to just the one single platform left, the area ends after a few seconds. And you're going to see that. There we go. Now we're down to that one singular platform. But as long as you don't jump a lot, you shouldn't fall off. Most of the enemies, if you get hit, it doesn't really matter as long as you have a good amount of health left, because they don't do very much damage. Then the iceberg kind of just slides off. Okay, Blinky time. You can see that guy throwing like the spiked balls. What your goal is to knock away all these ice cubes so that the mace ball, that I like to call it, is able to break through the floor. You're going to see another one I'm going to use right here. There we go. Pretty much just keep shooting the ice blocks till the mace guy throws his ball that allows you to break through the floor. That actually took me a good amount of time. It actually took me a couple minutes the very first time I ever attempted playing this game. And even after I replayed it years later, I forgot about it and I had to remember how to do that. Now, taking place of the ice cubes is like these circular crystal things, which I have to break in order to continue on. Which, of course, break them all before, as these, these giant cylinders are moving up and down. More frogs inside of crystals now. Kind of weird. I don't know if they were like growing inside the crystal like pods or something, but kind of interesting. Okay, here's the boss. Really, this boss is one of those ones where you just gotta learn its pattern and you can be able to get past it pretty quickly. The water keeps rising, but after it gets to a certain point on you, like about your neck level, he throws the block that opens it up. As you're gonna see, now I'm gonna be in this set pattern. I won't move anymore in terms of I'll just keep jumping, and I should be able to dodge all missiles. You just get in a pattern. He's gonna, shoot missiles when it's about at Bucky's neck. He'll jump up and throw that lightning bolt thing a little above Bucky's neck, about eye level. And eventually, if you unfortunately make it all the way to the top before you've been able to kill him, you die and get to redo the battle, but I should be able to kill him before this. It takes a lot of hits, as you're seeing. Just be careful not to jump up too high and kill yourself. Oh god, come on. Seriously, dude, die. Gotta use short jumps. There we go. Good, finally. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it. I was gonna be embarrassed. I couldn't be able to actually get through that area. I only had like one hit left too, which is a pain. But hey, my high score racks up, and now refill my health so we can continue on to the next planet. And we saved Jenny on this planet. Aye, Captain, we can croak all the toads with my beam blaster and toad turbo ball. Wow. Yeah. Which is the equivalent of, she has a basic regular beam attack that's similar to everyone else, to Bucky's shot, straightforward, as well as that charge thing that works like a ball, like a psychic ball pretty much, that you can actually control for a few seconds to run into an enemy, which that one's kind of useful. There's not really many areas though when I actually will need it. I'll make sure I fit it in at some point in the video just to show you what it is, but for the most part it's really not that useful. This is actually a pretty fun planet overall. Not too difficult. You have a whole series of kind of like a minecart-esque platforming area, which, if you're a veteran of like the minecart levels in the first Donkey Kong Country, I'm sure there's been plenty of games with minecart type things in them. Moving platforms real quick. You gotta duck and jump from platform to platform and continue on the track and all that kind of stuff. So you're gonna see that coming up soon. Now I mentioned ship jumping platforming earlier. This is that equivalent. At the one part you had to go from right to left, and now on this screen I have to work my way all the way up on the different layers of ships, some moving faster, slower, some not moving at all, in order to reach the top and continue on to the next area. Like I said, this game pretty much combines every single form of platforming you can ever imagine, which is why it's always changing things up. So if you've never played it before, you gotta, every time you get to a new area, you gotta be like, not sure exactly what to expect because it could always change on you. But, after you play it a few times, it just becomes fun. You just gotta remember what areas are coming next. It's not too difficult, but it's also really, really fun, and it's that middle of the line challenging where it's still fun, it's not hair pulling. And that's what's so great about this game. Which it's good to see, even based off a cartoon, that they still put some difficulty into a game. Then again, there's a few games, because like for Capcom's Disney games, of course they were going for all audiences, while great games, they're not necessarily that difficult. Now here we go. Here's that whole minecart thing I was talking about. Basically, you ride this whole platform, The good thing is, right before you get to the end,